What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is TheUzigunner here of the Token Minorities, finally here to bring each and every single one of you my very first video for this channel. I apologize for taking this long, but I promise to you all that I will do my best to make all of this wait worth it. So to start things off, we are going to showcase not one, not two, but 3 Pokemon fan games that I've recently come across that I highly recommend you all to play. So with that out of the way, enough of the formalities, let's get this show on the road. Coming in at number 3 is none other than one of the most unique Pokemon ROM hacks I've ever played in recent time, Pokemon Fat Kid. Yes, Pokemon Fat Kid. You'd think by now that with ROM hacks being in development for over a decade, we'd pretty much get used to the idea of what Pokemon ROM hacks we can get used to seeing. Clearly this game throws everything out of the window, as just like the name itself implies, you're gonna be in for a very wild ride. As far as the protagonist goes, remember that fat guy you meet in Gen 1, Gen 2, as well as Gen 3 that says technology is incredible? Yeah, of all people in the world to play this game as, it is him. Just from that alone, the ridiculous tone of the game is set as you're off to the Cheeto region, which is the home to really advanced technology and is renowned for having an amazing chain of donut shops. It's also the home of Pokemon genius Bill, who for some reason doesn't live in Kanto anymore. With that in mind, things immediately take a more crazier turn when the generic Pokemon Professor Lab in the starring town blows up. You head on back to investigate, only to see him in a pool of his own blood. As he breathes his last breath, the professor gives you a unique Pokemon called Porygon 5.0, which has a never-seen-before typing known as Tech, requesting you to bring that said Pokemon over to Bill. With that, he dies listening to a horrible pun from the fat kid. Regarding the Porygon itself, its uniqueness does not simply end there, no siree. Later on, you find out that this exact Pokemon has the ability to transform itself into a plethora of never-seen-before forms, representing a certain stat that to me is honestly the highlight of the game itself. They are, in my opinion, extremely well designed and have clever names associated with them, as well as unique perks that come along with it, which make the idea of changing forms every now and then for the incoming hurdles, well, fun. Furthermore, the humor in this game is random and exactly what you'd expect from the internet as you scroll through your feed. Yup, he dead. The main antagonists this game are known as Team Hippie, who want to destroy the advancement of technology for the world's sake and convert everybody to veganism. Feature-wise, it has a select number of Pokemon from Kanto to Alola, as well as removing HMs entirely, replacing them with key items to overcome such obstacles. The tile sets are what you'd expect from a Generation 4 game, which aesthetically is a massive step up. To top it off, all the usual important bits that you'd expect from a trainer have been replaced with something that would suit this fat piece of, big bone boy. Look at that sly smile. There are also new music pieces here which overall help in creating a fresh experience. Granted, this game does span up to only 3 gyms and does have its fair share of weird bugs here and there. But if you're looking for something lighthearted to play or something to make you laugh while questioning exactly what it is that you're doing with your life, then this game is just for you. Now coming in at number 2 is, in my opinion, the biggest Pokemon ROM hack that everybody else should be anticipating the most, Pokemon Unbound. To say that it immediately catches your attention would honestly be a massive understatement. First things first, this game catches your eye through its amazing presentation by having all assets related to Gen 4 Pokemon games. From the sprites, to the tile sets, to the music, you name it. It immediately gives you the impression that you're in for something that's completely fresh and unique. But does it truly live up to all of those impressions? The answer to that question is a resounding yes. The game's story takes place in a completely new region known as the Boreas that also happens to be the other region where Kalos fought with during the Great War. They had summoned a dark force to help them in shifting the tide of the battle into their favor, only to have lost when the Kalos King unleashed the ultimate weapon. As of now, the region may be at peace, but just like with every other Pokemon game, an evil team exists by the name of the Shadows who intend to unleash the Dark Force again for reasons yet to be disclosed. This hack itself immediately puts you in action from the get-go, as it starts with Hoopak literally coming out of nowhere into your room as you're sleeping, only to transport you with his ring into the Shadow's secret base. Of course, that leads to you being caught and being put behind bars. From there, you meet your rival who is in the same situation, where the both of you end up working together to find your way out. To help you in the process, you both luckily encounter 3 caged Pokemon, leading to the 3 starters of choice being 3 amazing pseudo-legendaries in Gible, Beldum, and Larvitar. Your rival is also an interesting fellow, as he isn't the stereotypical friendly person, but also not a stereotypical jerk, making him honestly come off as a real person. Honestly, the story of the game gives a lot of promise, and the Shadows are sold very well as actual threats to the player and the region itself. Unfortunately, the latest release was provided in 2014, and you can only play up to getting 2 badges. However, the creator is still actively posting in the forum of his progress, and by the looks of it, will upload the next version when it's all finished, which most certainly doesn't look as far away as it once used to. Regardless, if there's anything that truly sells this ROM hack and clearly shows the insane potential shown in it, it'd have to be the features. See, this game will have Pokemon from Kanto to Alola. With that obviously comes the physical special split, but that's not all, oh no. Everything about the battle system itself has been modernized to the absolute maximum. Every single move from Generation 4 to Generation 7 will have their own unique animations. Forget the fact that you can actually Mega Evolve in the game. Every single form of battle transformation, such as Zygarde going from 50% to 100%, to Kyogre and Groudon Primal reverting, to finally Necrozma transforming into Ultra Necrozma. All of that are there, have their own animations, and then some. Even Resist Berries have been implemented in the game and have their own unique animations too when going off, which really speaks volumes about the level of effort, time, and dedication being put into making such a groundbreaking Pokemon ROM hack. Lastly, it appears that the future version of this ROM hack will have never before heard music as well, which further solidifies this hack's legitimacy. Either way, if you're willing to look past the lack of progress and want to get a taste of exactly what it is that you can expect from these games, I highly implore you to give this one a go. For the final game on this list, there is, in my opinion, nothing else that deserves a spot more than one of the most unique Pokemon fan games I've ever played in a long time, Pokemon Desolation. It honestly baffles me to this day to see just how much overlooked this game is in the Pokemon community, because it honestly deserves all the recognition and praise in the world. Now, contrary to the fact that the title looks like something fitting of an edgy teenager with an identity crisis, it is far from just that. See, this fan game does follow the theme presented in Pokemon Reborn and Pokemon Rejuvenation. In fact, this game was inspired by these two entities in the first place. However, to say that it's the exact same would be a massive lie, because just as Rejuvenation has its fair share of distinctions from Reborn, the same case exists for Pokemon Desolation. Feature-wise, it does plan on having every single Pokemon from Kanto to Alola, but as of now, only has Pokemon up to the Kalos region. That being said, if there's anything that the game itself does execute properly, it'd have to be the storytelling and presentation itself in the best way possible. Story-wise, you, the protagonist, are in a ship with 2 friends and are on your way to the Arid region, with the goal of taking on the best, and just like any other Pokemon game, taking on all gyms present and striving to be the best trainer you could ever possibly be. Unfortunately, as per the Reborn and Rejuvenation tradition, things take a complete opposite turn when you find out that one of the evil team leaders are aboard the ship and set a bomb off just to state her personal amusement, once again setting the tone of the story. Now, while this start may come off to you guys as unnecessarily edgy, trust me when I tell you that the story itself is told in such a way to not make you come to resent it, but rather embrace it, to appreciate it. The characters, whilst not necessarily having the rather ideal sprite work behind them, have distinct and rather fun personalities that make you enjoy having them as company. Not only that, but this fan game also does have very well done features known as reputation points. This means that there will be many points in the game where you'll have to answer to the people that you meet, and based on that, their perception of you will be affected by it. Most importantly, however, some of these decisions you choose to make will affect the story itself as you progress in it. Speaking of that, I will go on the record to state that of all new Pokemon fan games that I've played throughout this year, none of them had the level of lore and the quality story writing which Pokemon Desolation did. In fact, trust me when I say that there will be a point in the game where you will be gaping in awe to what just happened. The music as well coincides extremely well with the game and its events, and is something that I'll go on the record to say is the best when compared to Reborn and Rejuvenation. The difficulty is rather extremely high as well, and quite frankly much more harder than Reborn, which really does come off as unfair at times depending on what you have in your party. Unfortunately, this game is only up to 4 gyms, but once again, trust me when I say that it is just as long as what you'd expect a traditional Pokemon game to be. Either way, it's up to you all whether you want to play it or not, but among all of this is the one that I recommend the most. So yeah, that's gonna be all there is to it for this video. I hope you all managed to find enjoyment out of it, and if you did, feel free to drop a like on this video and drop a comment about what your impressions are of these games itself, or even let me know what you think of them if you have played any of it. And if you want to see more of yours truly, feel free to head on over to my channel. I will be fighting for the UBL finals, as well as upload more Pokemon related videos covering varying topics that are presented in this light. Either way, thank you very much for watching. This is TheUzigunner signing out. Bish!